Welcome to the Ebbs of History, the show where we dive into the strangest, wildest, sometimes downright creepiest stories the past has to offer. From dancing plagues to pirate queens, you'll laugh, you'll gasp, you'll even groan at my impeccable dad jokes. But, most importantly, you'll learn how history is way cooler than your textbook ever told you.
We're your history-loving hosts, Zoe,
Gavin.
I'm Jason, and in every episode, the three of us will take a quick trip through time and see what lessons we can still learn today. This is the Ebbs of History. Hey there, history lovers. Welcome back to another episode of Ebbs of History. We're so glad you're here with us today. Zoe, Gavin, how's everyone's week?
It's been a pretty good week so far. It's the week back from spring break, so it's a little rough, but overall it's been fine.
Very good. Gavin?
It's been a good week. Same thing. Back from spring break, so that's kind of a bummer. But other than that, we've been pretty good.
How about you?
I've been very, very, very busy at work doing a bunch of kind of technical stuff that just is draining my brain, and I get home and my eyes burn and all I want to do is go to sleep. But I've been having a blast doing it, so it's actually been really good. Thanks for asking.
No one ever asks.
That's right, no one ever asks.
No one ever asks.
Okay, what if I told you that the most powerful man on earth once tried to appoint his horse to the highest office in government? Not as a joke, but for real. Today, we're uncovering the wild story of Emperor Caligula and the horse who nearly ran Rome. Let's set the scene. Ancient Rome, around 40 CE. The Roman Empire is arguably the most powerful civilization the world has ever seen, stretching from the coast of Scotland to the deserts of Syria and from the Rhine River down to the Sahara. Millions of people, hundreds of languages, and at the very top of it all, one man with absolute unchallengeable thank you, power. He had unchallengeable power over every single one of those people. That man is Emperor Gaius Caesar Augustus Germanicus.
Can you say that again?
Can I just write Germanicus?
No, because that's his dad's name. Emperor Gaius Caesar Augustus Germanicus.
Is this guy who was named Germany after, like...
I'm not quite sure, to be honest, but I'm sure there's some connections there. Not to Caligula, but the Germanicus name. But nobody called him that for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Yeah, right. What do you think the name Caligula actually means? Because it's not part of his name, right? Of all those names, Caligula is not one of them. So it's a nickname.
It probably means like some sort of like power or like
Yeah.
high-ranking official
Okay.
in like Latin or something.
I'm the best.
And so you think I'm the best?
The best warrior or something.
Okay. Interestingly, it means little boots. When he was a toddler, his father, Germanicus, was one of Rome's most celebrated generals. Little Gaius would toddle around the military camp wearing a tiny soldier's uniform his parents had made for him, including miniature collegae, the heavy sandal boots Roman soldiers wore on campaign. The hardened veterans of the Roman army thought that this was the most adorable thing that they had ever seen in their lives. They started to call him Caligula, Little Boots. The nickname stuck for the rest of his life.
I feel like I'm not sure. Like if I were him, knowing who he is, I'd be like I would not like that name. You know,
Right.
like I'm guessing that he didn't like that nickname.
So how does an adorable toddler named Little Boots become one of history's most infamous rulers? Well, he didn't start out that way at all. When Caligula became emperor at the age of 24 in 37 CE, Romans were absolutely ecstatic. His predecessor, Tiberius, had been a paranoid, joyless tyrant who spent his final years on the island of Capri throwing political enemies off of cliffs. True story. After years of that, what do you think the Romans were hoping for from the young, charismatic son of a beloved general?
That he would be like his father. Just 'cause, like the family name, nepotism.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe no tyranny, more joy, less political executions? Someone who actually cared about the people themselves? Maybe.
Yeah.
At first, he delivered completely. Caligula threw lavish public festivals. He abolished an unpopular sales tax. He released political prisoners. He restored elections that Tiberius had canceled. He handed out cash bonuses to soldiers and gave grain to citizens. For the first several months, Romans were pinching themselves. Was this the emperor that we've been waiting for, and he's actually good? Then, in the fall of 37 CE, something changed. Historians have debated for 2,000 years what happened exactly. They don't know if it's a serious illness, possibly encephalitis or brain fever, maybe a psychological break, maybe just the discovery of what truly unlimited power actually feels like. Whatever it was, Caligula came out the other side as a completely different person, and things got very strange very fast. Here's a question. If you suddenly had total, unchecked authority over the entire Roman Empire, no laws that apply to you, no consequences for anything that you did, what's the most unhinged thing that you might do?
In this time,
Yeah, yeah, because it's the Roman Empire.
in Roman time.
Yeah.
I want to do evil with it.
Well, that's good to hear.
I think I would do like something really stupid, like put like a rule in place that like everyone has to wear weird hats on every other Thursday of every other month or something. Like something like so weird that like people would just be like, what is going
Yeah.
on?
On Wednesdays, everyone needs to wear pink.
Yeah. On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Well, everyone gives me $1.
Oh, there you go.
Or whatever Roman currency they have.
Well, Caligula had you both beat. He declared himself a living god and demanded to be worshipped alongside Jupiter and Apollo. He forced Roman senators, powerful men from ancient families, to run alongside his chariot in their formal togas while he rode. He built a 2-mile bridge of boats across the Bay of Boali, commissioning hundreds of Roman merchant ships to construct it, just so that he could spend 2 days galloping his horse back and forth across the water. You may ask yourself why. Why would he do this? Because years earlier, a fortune teller had told him that he had as much of a chance of becoming emperor as of riding a horse across the bay. So he wanted to prove the fortune teller wrong.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Valid.
He had an extraordinary relationship with spite, but the act that truly immortalized him in the history books involves a horse. So, we're passionate and intense baseball fans, right?
Very much so.
Oh, yeah.
We watch baseball all the time. I've seen some pretty crazy stuff, right? Like when a fan tore a ball out of Mookie Betts' hands.
Yeah. I think I remember that.
Or fans with neck tattoos of their team,
Zealots.
right? Or just how crazy people are when it comes to their teams and thinking about like the EFL, the Premier League and things like that. How just absolutely bonkers people are, right?
You
not
can
just
really see
baseball.
that in like American football, not like football.
Mm-hmm.
Both footballs.
Yeah, I can.
What's the craziest thing you think you've seen?
Well,
I think it's crazy that the fans from different teams have to be sectioned off. Like
In soccer,
in
yeah.
general, inside the
Yeah.
stadiums.
Yeah.
Because the rivalries are so heated.
Yes.
I remember when the Bears win the playoffs last season. Like I just saw so much people with like so much face paint, like a ton of stuff on, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I never realized how big football culture was until now.
And
Like-
we bleed Cubby blue, don't we? Like everything is Cubs for us.
You're not gonna be ready for my outfit tomorrow.
I know.
Oh my god.
Just comes out in all cubby blue.
So think about all these crazy fans, right? In soccer and everything like that. Take that situation and triple it. And you're still probably not even close to what ancient Roman chariot racing levels of fandom got to. The Circus Maximus, Rome's main racetrack, could hold somewhere between 150 and 250,000 screaming spectators. It's possibly the largest sports venue ever constructed in human history.
Wow. But horse racing.
Uh-huh. Racing teams were identified by colors: the blues, the greens, the reds, the whites. Fan loyalty was so violent that historians record full-scale street riots between supporters of rival teams. Sound familiar?
Yeah. It's like the football wars.
Yep, that's coming up pretty soon with the World Cup.
I'm excited for that.
Caligula was absolutely obsessed with the races, and his absolute favorite competitor was a horse named Incitatus. It can also be pronounced Incitatus. I came across both pronunciations in my research. Now, Zoe, I know your high school has Latin classes, but you are 100% not in them. Do you want to take a guess at what Incitatus means in Latin? Spelled Incitatus.
Wow, I spelled that right. Oh my
Wow,
god.
wait, I did not. Unbeatable.
Okay.
Because it's like the in. There's the in, like the beginning.
Okay.
I'm gonna go instant win.
It means swift or at full gallop.
So fast.
And Incitatus lived up to the name. He was a champion, fast, powerful, and celebrated. Caligula became completely fixated on him. In the days before big races, Caligula would reportedly send soldiers into the neighborhood surrounding the Circus Maximus to enforce total silence. No talking, no carts on the cobblestones, no noise of any kind. Guards were stationed in the streets so that nothing could disturb Incitatus's sleep the night before a race.
What the heck?
But the pampering went far beyond race day rituals. According to ancient historians, Incitatus lived in a marble stable. Not a wooden one like all the other horses back then, but marble. With an ivory manger to eat from. He reportedly drank wine from golden goblets. His oats were mixed with flakes of actual gold. Now, here's a question with a very specific answer. According to ancient sources, how many personal servants did Incitatus have attending him?
The horse.
The horse.
67.
Swear to God.
I'm gonna go
Gavin.
69.
Oh, jeez.
We suck.
68.
We suck.
68.
18, guys.
Is it?
I was right.
I was expecting
Well, that's
way more.
He's a freaking horse.
Yeah, but he is the horse.
For Roman woman.
He's the horse.
18 dedicated personal servants for one horse. Now, for context, most Roman citizens lived in crowded, cramped apartment buildings called insulae, with no running water and barely enough food. This horse had a staff of 18 people. And the wardrobe. Incitatus wore purple blankets.
Now, purple meets royal.
I was just going to say that might not sound dramatic to our modern ears, but in Rome, do you know why purple was such an enormous deal?
Because it was associated with the royals and like the upper class, so people strived to be. And then the dyes used to make purple fabrics were really expensive.
Yes.
I was gonna say something about purple doesn't naturally occur in nature all that much.
It's rare.
It's rare.
Yeah.
Purple dye was produced by crushing thousands of tiny sea snails called murex. It took thousands of snails to produce a single ounce of purple dye, making it more expensive than gold by weight. By Roman custom and law, purple was reserved exclusively for the emperor and the highest of royalty. Caligula dressing his horse in imperial purple was a deliberate, pointed statement. It said to everyone, plebs, landowners, politicians, absolutely everyone, that Incitatus ranks with the most powerful figures in Rome. Then, Caligula gave Incitatus a house, an actual house, fully furnished with a complete household staff of slaves, for the purpose of hosting dinner parties. Invitations would go out, from Incitatus, technically, to Rome's most powerful senators and generals. These men had no choice but to attend. They had to dress up, show up, and pretend to have perfectly lovely dinner in the company of a horse.
To become a horse, I would want to become this horse.
Right? No question. And then came the announcement that made all of these eccentricities look restrained. Caligula declared his intention to appoint Incitatus as a consul. Do either of you know what a consul is in ancient Rome?
Is it kind of part of their cabinet, where it's one of their advisors that helps them make decisions?
Not quite. Gavin, any ideas?
The consul is? I'm gonna guess something with the church.
It is not. It's a government. So, in Rome's governmental system, 2 consuls were elected each year.
Oh my god.
As
Why was that supposed to be a horse?
as something like a co-president.
Like a vice president?
Like two vice presidents, yeah. They commanded the armies, presided over the Senate, and wielded enormous authority over the empire's laws and governance. It was the most prestigious elected office in Rome, the pinnacle of a Roman citizen's career. Caligula wanted to give that office to a racehorse. Here's my question for both of you. Why would he do this? Was Caligula simply completely out of his mind? Or do you think that there might have been some kind of logic at work behind this?
I think it's making a point where it's like, it could be almost mocking the citizens, where it's, this horse is better than you kind of thing. Like, I don't know how to like the thought process about it, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, that could definitely be it, where it's like mocking, like, haha, look at you, a horse is better than you.
You're not far off.
Thing.
Gavin,
I
any
think that,
ideas?
like, showing the people that has so much power they can make a horse have all this power.
It's a good one too.
Showing his power.
Showing his power by appointing a horse of power.
Both of those answers have serious historical defenders. The pure madness interpretation is the traditional one that we all know. But there's another reading that many modern scholars find very compelling, that this was a calculated, savage insult aimed at the Senate. Roman politics by this point had become deeply corrupt. Positions of honor and power were handed to wealthy men with the right family connections and the right friends, regardless of actual competence.
I just thought that it connects throughout history.
It
Because
does.
later on, in Italy, with the Medicis, they buy Pope power. They buy, because they have so much money, and then it's obviously happens now. Like, I had to check the date on my page again. Like,
Yeah.
are we talking about the same thing? Like, I don't know, just like, wow, history is so connected.
It's funny.
History always
It's like, yes, that's it. History repeats.
Caligula may have been making the most brutal point possible. You people are so useless, so hollow, that a horse could fill your seat and the empire would run just the same. It was the world's most expensive, most theatrical political commentary. The Senate, for its part, did absolutely nothing. They couldn't. He was the emperor. Caligula's reign ended violently on January 24th, 41, less than 4 years after it had begun. Members of his Praetorian Guard, the elite soldiers personally sworn to protect the emperor, stabbed him to death in a corridor beneath the palace. He was 28 years old. The Senate briefly celebrated and talked about restoring the Republic. But then the Praetorian Guard informed them that they had already selected the next emperor, Caligula's uncle, Claudius, and the conversation was quickly over. And what about Incitatus? The horse with 18 servants, a marble stable, golden goblets, imperial purple blankets, dinner parties, and yes, ancient sources also record that Caligula arranged a wife for him, a companion mare named Penelope.
Aw, that's kind of sweet.
He simply disappears from the historical record entirely. Whether he lived out his days in comfort, was returned to the races, or met some other fate, history is completely silent, which feels like the right ending for a story that's this absurd.
Probably the calmest ending we've had, like, all podcast.
It's like,
The horse lives out happily.
gone.
Maybe. We don't know.
I hope.
Poof.
I believe.
We don't know is better than dying violently.
Yeah,
Right?
and it's a horse, so.
Historiography.
Here's where the story gets genuinely complicated. Almost everything we think we know about Caligula comes from sources written decades after his death, by writers who had a strong reason to make him look as monstrous as possible. Our two main accounts come from Suetonius, writing roughly 80 years after Caligula's assassination, and Cassius Dio, writing nearly 150 years later. Neither had first-hand witnesses. Both were writing for audiences who relished scandalous stories about deranged emperors. Modern scholars like Anthony Barrett have argued that many of these stories were exaggerated or completely invented. Later emperors actively benefited from a cartoonishly evil Caligula. It justified his violent overthrow and made every emperor who followed look stable and reasonable by comparison. Some historians now believe Caligula was no worse than many Roman rulers and was simply unfortunate enough to have his story told entirely by his enemies. What we can say with confidence, though, is that he was killed by his own guards, which means he had made some very powerful people very angry. The rest is history told by people with something to gain, and that distinction matters enormously. Lessons we've learned today. The story of Caligula and Incitatus is 2,000 years old, and it still has things to teach us. What do you think we can learn from this?
The first thing I think of is too much power could be bad. Well, that's and obviously a huge connection throughout history.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. Like there's so much you have all the power in the world. What do you do with it?
Yes.
Like it's a moral dilemma. It's like been books written about this. Like it's been a continuing question forever. I mean,
Yeah, and these people have all this power, and the government or these people that have no accountability.
yeah,
And
they can buy their way out of whatever they want.
without the ability for anyone else to say no to them, it's very frightening.
Yeah.
We see it today, don't we? With the U.S. kidnapping a world leader, putting him in jail, bombing Iran, all kinds of things. There's no one there to say no to him.
Yeah. The team is the yes team.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
That's why checks and balances were invented, and why defending checks and balances is so vital.
Because when there's no checks and balances, you get people making horses their right hand.
There you go.
You get people. I mean, making a horse part of your like council and kidnapping another world leader. Very different ends of a spectrum. Both
The same spectrum, though.
like one end is a horse, the other end is kidnapping, and it's the same. It's the same. Like it derives from the same problem.
Unchecked power. It's dangerous. Anything else, Gavin?
Don't get hyperfixated on something so much that you try to make it your entire world, I guess.
Yeah.
This seems like just a very big hyperfixation about horses. I like this one.
When institutions become corrupt and performative, people lose faith in them in very destructive ways. If Caligula's horse consul stunt was a satire, it only landed because people already believed that the Senate was useless. A government that stops serving its people doesn't just lose its credibility, it loses the will of the governed in ways that can turn ugly very fast. Another one is hatred and contempt is not leadership. Even if Caligula had a valid point about the Senate's incompetence, weaponizing humiliation and making enemies of everyone around you is a strategy with one outcome. He was dead at 28. And finally, examine your sources. I'm going to pound this into you guys so much.
The first thing you look at when a DBQ is the source.
There you go.
That's like a big tip to get the perspective of what you're, because it could be someone who's not a church leader writing about the church, or it could be like the Pope writing about the church. They're going to be very different perspectives.
And in this case, the Caligula that most people know may be largely a story that powerful people needed to tell.
This is like history is written by the winners, but like a different person that's writing it, you know?
It's people serving their own things in the future, and they're using the past to justify what they're doing in the future. Does that make sense?
The word it's like in court when something happens. Oh, precedent.
Precedent. Yeah.
They're using precedent to
Creating precedent.
They're creating it,
Yes.
using it to justify the actions that they're doing, but they're twisting it in a way that makes it okay for them to do it, even though that's not what happened at all.
Exactly. When a historical figure sounds too perfectly monstrous, too conveniently terrible, it's worth asking who wrote it, when, and what they stood to gain. That's not cynicism. That's just good history. It's time for the Fun Fact Challenge. All right, you know the rules. Let me finish the question. Lock in. Best of 3. And remember, questions are harder now. But I do have them going from easy to hard, so.
Should I start at easy?
Very good. All right, are we ready?
Yeah, they start from easy. That's
Question 1. How many personal servants did ancient sources claim attended to Incitatus? Zoe.
18.
18 is correct.
So easy, too.
Question 2. Suetonius is one of our main sources for Caligula's reign. Approximately how many years after Caligula's assassination did Suetonius write his account? Dead silence.
Can we do it?
I will give you...
Can we give a range?
Oh yeah, I'll give you a range of 10 years.
Locked in.
Locked in.
Go for
We
it.
should both give an answer, and whoever gets it
Yep,
closest.
that's what's gonna happen.
50.
Okay.
21.
Zoe gets that one. It was 80. 80 years after he died.
Like, it was a really long span of time. I just didn't write down the exact number.
Do you remember the other one? Cassidio. He was 150 years later.
I didn't write down any of.
Now, here's... I thought this was going to be the hardest one, but I don't think so. According to ancient sources, what was the name of the mare that Caligula arranged as a wife for Incitatus?
Locked in. Penelope.
Penelope. You guys.
I could have gotten all those too. No, except for the second one. I could have gotten both of them until you're like,
I'm so.
I think I should have gotten that first one, honestly.
Well, when I go to edit this, I'll let you know if I just misheard.
You can like slow down the clip and like who answered first. It'll be like at the Olympics where they do like the track and field, and then they get it with like the millisecond.
This day in history. There were just too many good historical events that happened on this day, April 23rd, throughout history for me to only give 3. So here are 4.5.
And a half. And a half.
Because the first one is a historical twofer.
Oh.
April 23rd, 1564. By tradition, William Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. The exact date is unconfirmed, but April 23rd has been celebrated as his birthday for centuries.
That's my goat.
And then, on the same day in 1616, William Shakespeare...
Baptized.
Nope.
No, died.
William Shakespeare died at Stratford-upon-Avon at age 52.
But 3 years after he was born, he got baptized, I think.
His birthday?
Yes, on his birthday.
Why do you think that?
Because I read a thing in history, and it said that his exact birth year wasn't perfect, but he was baptized in this year, which is normally 3 years after they were born.
Interesting. So, we've been to the house that he was both born and died in.
I feel like he lived a long time for that time period.
52?
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
For that time period, if you bring it into perspective.
You know the whole skewing of that number where they say, you know, the average person only lived to 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were actually living into their 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
It was the infant mortality rate that brought everything down.
Yeah, it was that.
It's the outlier.
It's the outlier.
Yes.
But, I mean, that's still quite old for that.
I guess he was probably, yeah. I mean, there's no medicine back then like we have today, you know? Like, they didn't know what bacteria was.
They used the humors to prescribe people.
There you go.
But, like, it's like, ooh, you have this, let's drain your bile, and then you'll be okay. Like, they didn't have modern medicine. Like,
also on this date, in 1616, Miguel de Cervantes, author of Don Quixote.
Don Quixote, man of la Mancha.
And one of the founders of the modern novel died in Madrid, Spain. The same date as Shakespeare.
Wait, that's so cool.
Making April 23rd uniquely mournful for the world of literature.
Oh, that's so cool.
I had to leave this one in because I knew you guys would do what you just did.
Oh, yeah.
April 23rd, 1635, Boston Latin School was founded in Boston, Massachusetts, becoming the first public school in what would become the United States. It remains in operation today. Isn't that nuts?
That's cool. Oh, education. Woo!
Almost 400 years.
I have a Harvard shirt on right now.
You're literally wearing a shirt that we got you when Mom and Dad went to Boston.
I get to school, so...
Yeah. And then the last one, on April 23rd, 2005, the first video was uploaded to YouTube.
My day at the zoo.
An 18-second clip called Me at the Zoo.
That's an iconic clip.
Is it? It was filmed at the San Diego Zoo by co-founder Jawad Karim.
Yeah. I think everyone knows that title. Like that's like...
I didn't.
It's a really well-known thing. Cause it's, I mean, the first YouTube video. I mean,
everyone that watches YouTube a lot knows that.
So everyone.
Do you guys know what the first viral YouTube video was? Is considered, there's some debate, but it's widely considered the first viral one.
I'm gonna guess it's like some sort of vlog.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
It's a digital short from SNL of Andy Samberg.
That's my goat.
Yep, I know it is. Singing Lazy Sunday. Have you ever heard that song?
No.
It's him and Chris Parnell. It's just a digital video short, and it's a song. You know, he does a lot of rap songs.
Yeah.
It's a
Lonely Island.
that was the first one, first viral. Okay, 2,000 years later, Caligula's horse still makes us laugh and shudder in equal measure. Absolute power without wisdom doesn't build legacies; it builds cautionary tales. Lead with your character, not your authority. I think that's a good lesson to take away from this.
Quote.
Yep. That's it for this episode. Thanks for traveling through time with us on the Ebbs of History. If you like today's story, share it with a teacher, a friend, or your family on Instagram at Ebbs of History. If you have any show ideas, corrections, or questions, you can contact us at questions@ebbsofhistory.com.
Signing off, this has been your co-host, Gavin,
Zoe.
And me, Jason, reminding you that history is not just about dates and battles. It's about people, curiosity, and the weird, wonderful choices that shaped our world. Until next time,
Keep wondering.
keep laughing.
keep learning through the Ebbs of History.